So that's just one thing about death, I think, in general. Remember that no soul leaves the planet without having agreed to it in some way, shape, or form.
Anything else you want to say?
Do you want to talk about powerlessness, or should I mention something about that?
Well, you're on a roll. So.
I'm on a roll. Okay. Well, I'll just address a couple things from a spiritual level, since
and take what you like of this and leave the rest.
And if it brings up more questions, then ask the questions. That's fine. So in the feelings of powerlessness, I think that's a really important one to engage with, because there is a little bit of a reality check here happening for us. And I posted about this last night on Instagram for those of you who follow. There's a really fine balance between feeling powerless and recognizing where we are not in control. And there's not going to be a clean and comfortable answer there most of the time. That's a very uncomfortable space for us to explore. And things like this come into the world specifically to give us opportunities to explore that space, right? So right now, many people are feeling powerless. And that's okay. And our job here is not to seize back power. It's to understand that in some way, shape, or form, we're being called to recognize where we never had the power to begin with, where we were kidding ourselves about the level of control that we have over each and every moment that takes place out in the world. And so it's really an opportunity for surrender, and a call for us to begin exploring in our own lives, what are the things that we actually do have power over? Where do we actually have the ability to control our life experience? And for the most part, what we have control over is our perspective, right? Whether we're going to look at this as a giant cataclysm that is something going wrong in the world that we should be in fear of, or as a massive opportunity to bring the entire globe together in a grand scale for a learning experience. Those are two dramatically different perspectives. Okay, yes, and please do, some people are using the chat box for follow-up questions. I think that's great. Yes, I agree. Patrick is asking, what if there's a deeper order underneath the chaos? Yes, I think that is of course true. And then the next question is inevitably, well, what is that? To which my personal answer is, I have no idea. That's what my post was about last night. I know that that's one of the things that I'm not in control of, is having that answer. I do not have the power to answer that question. And if I fret about that and stress about that, I'm really just winding myself up for nothing. Mm-hmm. Right? And that's what I have control over. I have control over surrendering to the order that I know to be present underneath the seeming chaos in the world. Right? There's always been this stuff in the world, always. And we all end up being fine, even if being fine means leaving the planet. We have to keep that in mind. Most people here, I don't know everyone, but most people here are people of great faith, of deep spiritual connection. And I would like to stick around. I'm having fun, right? So far, so good. I'm enjoying this. I would like to stick around. If that's not in the cards for me, oh well. You know, I don't have conscious control over that at this point. And acting like I do is trying to seize that control from God. All I can do is surrender. But, you know, as spiritual beings and people who are inclined to think and act that way, just remembering that death isn't really the end of life. Keeping that in mind.
Mm.
We're all leaving. We're all leaving at some point.
Yeah. B.
Do you want to address that one?
Sure. So B is writing that the unknown course and seriousness of this is leading her to feel powerless, and the unknown fate of her loved ones is very challenging, very difficult. Yes, it is. It is. And all we can really do with those feelings is feel them. And as most of you know, I think hopefully all of you guys know, feelings change constantly. If you really allow yourself to express your feelings, feel them in your body, you'll feel them changing and shifting. There's fear, and then that will change into sadness, and then that will change into peace, and it changes all the time. And you can just be with whatever's there in the moment and allow, and just observe, watch it change. So I know that's very much harder in practice than it is for me to say. But that's why we're here. That's why we're all together, to support each other in this, because it is challenging. And while we're doing the work, while we're doing the healing today, you will experience lots of things shifting and changing. And all you have to do is open up energetically, open up and allow things to be changed. Allow yourself to heal and experience a shift. So I know B. I know it's hard.
And just to connect that back to the previous questions and discussion, if we really tune in and check in, I think it's pretty easy for us to recognize we never knew the fate of our loved ones anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That's all been a lie that we've told ourselves. We check in with that with each other. I check in that with myself. You know, if something's going on between the two of us, I remind myself, don't take this for granted. You know, one of our soul journeys could have this big 90-degree turn on it at any moment that I'm not aware of. And so again, it's just, as Jamie's saying, feeling the feelings of fear and concern that come up and recognizing and honoring them. And maybe also at the same time, I don't like the should word, but I'm going to use it here. Maybe we should have been feeling those feelings a long time ago. Why does it take a global pandemic for us to check in with ourselves around the reality of having no idea what the path of our loved ones might be? Why does it take a global scare for us to stop and go, what about my loved ones? What if I'm taking this for granted that they're here today and might not be here tomorrow? That's an existential check-in that we should really have been engaged with prior to this, right? I mean, again, we act like this is something new, but people leave the planet all the time in unpredictable ways that we find to be tragic and difficult. You know, other forms of illness, car accidents, natural disaster. I mean, you know, take your pick. But so the reality is that has been true all along. And I don't say that to inspire you to be scared, right? It's just about checking in with the fact that this reality has been there all along, and we would do well to engage with it and feel the feelings that come up around it.
Yeah. Does anyone else have any questions or comments?
I really appreciate that reminder, for one. I think that's well articulated. I think that, you know, in the big scheme of things, being able to sit back and look at the bigger picture and at the bigger perspective, it's a great opportunity to trust the process of the universe, that we may not understand what's going on, but like you said, Mother Earth has always had her own wisdom.
Yeah.
Whether or not we like it, whether or not we understand it, whether or not we're okay with it, it's the difference between having control, like you said, perceived illusory control, or having agency. Like, we
Mhm.
don't have control over what's going on with this, but we at least have the agency of how we choose to respond to it rather than react.
Right.
So that was really well said. Thank you for that reminder, Noah.
Yes, you're very
And
welcome.
Jamie also. Yeah, the call is timely, I think, for all of us. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Aiden has a question about that it's no secret that we all have greed, and it's been really displayed by a lot of people. Any suggestions on how to stay humble and avoid becoming self-centered?
Great
That's a
question.
wonderful question. Thank you, Aiden. I'll share my own personal experience, how I'm working with this, because of course I have fear. Fear is what causes greed, that there will not be enough for me, that I will not have toilet paper when I need to wipe my ass next week. So how I work with that is I really rest in the trust that I know I will be taken care of in my time of need. I don't know how that will be, but I know this. And so when I went grocery shopping last week and this week, I bought what I needed for the coming week. And then I bought what I needed again for the coming week. And I bought a few hand wipes, and I have one hand sanitizer in my office. And I'm just doing my part and making sure that people around me that I love and care about have what they need. I'm reaching out and asking people, do you need vitamin C powder? Do you need hand wipes? What can I bring to you that I have? So for me, it's about remembering that we are part of a larger community. We can help each other. And I know that there are a lot of people out there who love and care about me. And if I need toilet paper, somebody's going to drop me off a package on my step.
Mhm.
Do you have anything to add to that?
I do. I will just add, when it comes to this sort of knowing that we'll be taken care of, if you don't know that, that's okay. I think that's important to say. This is not a fundamental flaw of you as a being. If you are not yet able to rest in that certainty that you will be taken care of. Okay. So being okay with that. And then actually asking for an experience of that, right? Stopping, meditating, recognizing what your state is, saying to yourself and to the universe and whatever other beings, by whichever names you address them, please help. I'm afraid, and I would like to not be afraid. I don't want to go into panic greed mode. That's not how I want to be in the world. Please help me find a different way to be. Help me have a different experience, and help me have some direct contact in my body and in my being of this truth that I'm going to be taken care of. So if you don't feel that right now, again, beating yourself up over that or trying to convince yourself otherwise isn't the point. Recognize that you're afraid, feel the feelings about it, and ask for help. Ask for some help and some direct experience of what it's like to know that you're going to be taken care of. And balancing that with good common sense. That was one of the earlier questions. I got advanced word yesterday that we might have been going on a larger level lockdown as Jamie and I were driving back from the mountains. And I said, let me just swing by the bank to pull out some cash just in case things get a little crazy, because we don't really keep cash around the house. That was just kind of a good common sense thing that popped into my head, and I was able to engage in that task without feeling like I was succumbing to fear. It was just a logical common sense thing to do. We don't have to throw common sense out the window. Many of you have heard this story probably at some point, but it's the story of a flood is moving into a town, and I'll give you the brief version. And right, there's a guy living in his home, and they get the advance notice that there's a flood coming, and he gets the word to get out of the house and get out of town. And he says, nope, it's okay. God will take care of me. And the water starts to rise, and it's up above the first floor. So he goes onto the second floor, and somebody comes by in a boat and says, hey, I'm here. I can help get you out of here. And he says, no, it's okay. God will take care of me. And next thing you know, the water's up to the roof and he's sitting on the one patch of dry roof. Somebody comes by in a helicopter and says, we're here to save you. And he says, nope, it's okay. God will take care of me. And then he drowns and goes to heaven and is really angry at God and says, God, I've had all of this faith for so long, and I promised everybody that you would show them and that you would save me. Why didn't you save me? And he's like, listen, I sent you a guy in a rowboat. I sent you a warning message over the news. I sent you a helicopter with a inflatable device, right? So the moral of the story is that we don't throw common sense out the window and default to magical thinking. We can still use common sense, but we want to do that without being in a state of fear.
Mm-hmm. So Patrick has a question about how to engage consciously and carefully in social media. Yeah. So I think that's a great question. Not being caught up in chaos and fear unproductively. I'll tell you what I do, and I'm never going to tell you what I think is right for everyone because I don't work that way. But how I manage it is I am mostly sharing things that are of service for people. So I'm going to share meditations. I'm going to share powerful sayings. I'm going to share imagery that speaks to me, that raises up my vibration, that helps me feel good in my body, because there's enough contribution to social media right now with discussion of how you catch this disease and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of facts out there about the virus itself. And I don't need to speak to that because many people are taking care of that. So I tune in very carefully every time I share what would be of service right now, what is supportive and loving right now. And not trying to argue anyone out of their beliefs around what is happening, because that doesn't do any good, and it makes people feel really sad and hurt, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't contribute positively. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything you'd like to say about that?
No, just I think that we will find that we often have the choice to engage with love or fear
Mm-hmm.
throughout this entire process. And again, choosing love doesn't mean not using common sense. Go to the store, make sure you have some food. But one of the things I shared in my post is that to me, the loving, and again, this is for me, if you feel otherwise, I have no judgment or criticism of that. Mm-hmm. But when we go to the store, what feels loving is to only get what we need. That's a choice for love. And I don't like the feeling in my body of shopping out of panic and hoarding. It doesn't feel good to me. And it's not how I want to live my life. And so I'm just not going to do it. And we're all able to check in with that. And you might have a different authentic experience when you check in, and that's okay. Yeah. But check in and feel into what feels like a choice for fear and what feels like a choice for love. And the more that you can stay connected with love, like Jamie, she does it by sharing good news and sharing her love that she's connected with, and doing things like this. Mm-hmm. And being of service to others by sharing love is also of service to the self. So keeping that in mind.
And Megan says, you want to address that?
Megan says, I know what I need will be provided. However, what I need isn't always what I expect. Yes. Touche. I have some fear around this. What if what I need is to run out of toilet paper, or worse, right? What if you need a lesson, I think is what Megan is sharing. You're conscious of that, which is a huge start.
Yeah.
I think usually the lessons that sneak up on us are the things that we're not conscious about. That's when the old trickster archetype has to show up in our life and work some divine magic through uncomfortable mechanisms. Anything that you're conscious of, you can work with. And so Megan, a simple thing using your example would be to actually tune into that fear and allow yourself to feel it and breathe through it and allow it to be transmuted in your body, and then offer a prayer and say, whatever it is that I might need to learn through an experience like this, I choose instead to learn it in a way that is soft and loving and kind. And make a commitment to the universe that you are going to pay attention. Make a commitment to the universe that you are listening, and you will pay attention, and you will take action on the lessons that you know you need to when they arrive in soft, loving, and gentle fashion. And I think we all have been given the divine right for that to be true for us.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is a birthright that we have as divine beings, that anything that we are conscious of needing to learn, or just knowing that there's some lesson out here, I don't know quite what it is, but I feel it sort of hovering around on the periphery here, waiting to enter into my life experience. Once we have a sense that that's true, we can make a prayer for that to come into the life experience in a way that is loving and gentle.
Mm-hmm.
We do not have to learn through 2x4s across the head. That does not have to be the case.
Yeah. Jen. So Jen is sharing that she's feeling overloaded and saturated. She works in a hospital, and her entire day revolves around preparations and new information and patients discussing.
Bless you.
God, Jen, I hear you.
Yeah.
I remember when I used to work at a hospital, and we were not in a pandemic situation. It was overwhelming. I think if I was in your position, Jen, I would do a couple things. First of all, when I was not on duty, I would really be not on duty. I would not be on social media, learning and reading and discussing anything about the virus or thinking about it. I would be actively trying to take a lot of action in my life to participate in things that are joyful and feel good in my body, yoga and baths and all of that. And the other thing that I would probably do is some energetic practices around putting myself in a bubble of light and asking for that love and light to be around me for the entire day while I was working. And so I actually did this the other day. Had to go to the grocery store. Didn't want to go to the grocery store because I knew it was going to be a hot mess. But I sat in my car before I entered the grocery store, and I said to my higher self, which to me means that my inner, my soul, my inner divine being, please, higher self, surround me and enfold me in a bubble of light and love. And allow me to only experience my own feelings and thoughts and physical sensations for the entire time that I'm in the store. And please allow me to be a force of goodness, of benefit to everyone in the store. And Ray, who's on the call, he's laying on his bed. He has a lovely saying whenever he leaves the house. He says, God's love and grace goes before me everywhere I go. So along the same lines, just may I please be a benefit to people. And so this is what I do, Jen. If I'm going someplace where I know it's going to be challenging, yes, Ashley, I'll write that out and send that to you. I'll put it on Facebook. I think you're on Facebook, yeah. I will ask my higher self to enfold me in this bubble of love and light, and ask that it remain intact for however long the experience is going to be. You know, if I'm going to the grocery store, it might be an hour. If I'm going to have a very challenging day, like I'm traveling at the airport or something, I will ask for that beautiful protective energy to be around me for the entire time that I'm traveling. And I ask for the energy to keep out anyone else's feelings, thoughts, or physical sensations, because my own is enough for those times. And that's how I handle it. However, when I'm working one-on-one with clients and I'm where I want to be connected deeply with people, I don't have a bubble of protective energy around me because I want to be engaged with them. I want to be deeply engaged with them. If that makes sense, I hope that makes sense. So that's how I use energetic protection when I'm going to be doing something very intense, like working in a hospital right now. That's got to be very challenging. And I hope that I can imagine that on your days off and times off, you're probably totally exhausted and need a lot of self-care. You're holding space for a lot of people right now. And thank you for doing it.
I'd just add to that as Jen, as somebody who is working in service to humanity, there is an army of spiritual support behind you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do nothing but sort of keep that in the back of your mind as you're working, keep that in consciousness, even if it's just kind of hovering very distant in the background, and check in with that regularly. And just remember that you are not in that alone. And that can really help free up some of the energy that you're experiencing and help you to feel less drained and connected to that higher resource, because you're doing amazing work in that field and you've got a lot of support.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you. Does anybody else have anything to say before we begin with some healing?
We never addressed, I don't remember who had asked about tools for
the family. It was Anita.
It was Anita.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll just say right off the top here that it's funny, I think we were talking about this just yesterday, Jamie and I. By far the best thing that we can do for the people around us is be that steady place of love and peace. Mm-hmm. And that's just true always, right? So doing what you need to do to take care of yourself and your own being during this time, there'll be a direct impact on the family, but maybe you're looking for something a little more practical and action oriented.
Is that my cue?
That's your cue.
Okay. So here are some of the things that I do. And I think I'm going to have to make a video about this because it's a little bit of a long explanation, and I know you guys are not really in a place where you're writing down notes. So what I do is I clean energetically. I clean the space that I'm in. So the home. And there's many, many ways to do this. You can sage, you can use Palo Santo, you can do all kinds of stuff. But what I love the best, it's a two-step process. The first thing I do is I imagine that there is a mesh of light. So mesh meaning not completely solid, like a sieve, okay? A mesh of light that goes all the way underneath the foundation of the place I'm in. So if you want to, as I'm saying this, you can do this with me. You can imagine your home, wherever you are, or your apartment, 2 feet underneath the foundation of this place, there is this beautiful mesh of white light. And what you're going to, what's going to happen next is you're going to picture this mesh of light rising up through the floor, through the basement, if you have a basement, and slowly rising up all the way through your entire living space, your whole house, your whole apartment. Slowly, 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 all the way up through until it comes out of the roof. If you're in an apartment complex, you can be very generous and do this for your whole apartment complex. It can be done easily. So you're going to bring that mesh of light all the way up through, and this mesh of light is scooping up any energy that does not belong there, any energy that's not of the light, things that people have shed, feelings, beliefs, junk, whatever comes off of us. It's picking up all of that stuff. And when that mesh of light comes up all the way through the roof and is in the sky, is in the air, you can tie it into a bundle, and you can visualize throwing that bundle of energy into the sun. And once that bundle of energy is into the sun, then you're going to picture 4 columns of light, one on each corner of your house or apartment complex or whatever. And these pillars of light are going to be bright white light with gold flecks in them. So there's going to be a pillar on each corner. And then you're going to visualize white light connecting each of these pillars. So a wall, essentially a wall of white light around your whole home. You're going to visualize a floor of white light. And then on the top, you can visualize a dome. Of white light. And if you like, you can put a cross on top or another sacred symbol to seal the space. And so inside of this energetic container that you have made for your home, you can ask and visualize for this space to be filled with light. It can be a white gold light. If that feels like it's too much, which it might for some, you can ask for it to be a rose gold light. If you want blue, you can put blue in there. It doesn't matter. Whatever speaks to you, but most typically it's usually either white gold light or rose gold light. It's pretty common. And so you just visualize your whole house and space just filled with this light. Every nook and cranny. And you can do this whenever it feels like you need to. I will typically do it for my home once a week. I'll also do it if I have someone staying with me who I know is experiencing a lot of emotions and is doing a lot of healing. I'll do it while they're here and also after they leave. I do this process every time I stay in a hotel or an Airbnb. If I don't, boy, do I have bad sleep. Mm-hmm. Because if people leave their energy in lots of places. So that's one thing that you can do for your whole family. For your clinic, for your office, and for whatever. And Noah is absolutely correct. The stronger, the more grounded, the more centered, the more we are willing to feel our feelings and allow them to flow and move, the better everyone will be around us. The people around us are going to have varying capacity for this. Some people around us have a great deal of capacity to feel okay in the unknown, and some people have zero capacity. But all we can do is really take care of ourselves. And if we have, Sandra, mm-hmm. if we have extra energy to give to others, we can say, is there anything that you need from me right now? Would you like me to rub your feet? Can I watch the kids for you for a while? Do you need some space? Do you need to be alone? You can ask these things of your family members, and sometimes people have no idea what they need, but you can just let them know, I'm here for you. You can ask for what you need. Like last night, I needed help from Noah to do a clearing. So we did a whole hypnotherapy clearing so that I could feel more grounded and rooted and connected to be able to do this and the rest of the work I've done today. So lean on people if you need to. Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, great questions.
Yeah, really beautiful questions. Or anything else to say? Okay.
Okay.
Well, if there's nothing else, and certainly we'll have time for questions after, I want to just invite you all to find a really comfy place to be. Seated is totally fine, but if you can lay down, go for it. Going to do a little healing work. I'll give you a few minutes to get settled.
And as folks are getting settled, for those of you who are energy sensitive and attuned, if you just check in, you can already feel
Mm-hmm.
the energy that is moving, the healing energy that's showing up when a bunch of people gather together to really just be in a place of love with one another. It's pretty powerful.
And so some of this meditation will be, or this healing will be silent. Some of it you'll hear me speaking. And all you need to do is just allow, accept, and be willing to receive it.
Okay, so I'm actually gonna get us started here. So everybody just settling in, making sure you're comfortable. And just starting with a nice deep breath. And then just letting all of the tension dissolve from the body now. And with every breath you exhale, just allowing the body to sink a little deeper into the chair, the bed, whatever surface you're on. Just noticing how good it feels to be taking some time for yourself now. Just noticing how the body loves to be still. And beginning now to breathe in a beautiful, soft, golden rose-colored light, something like the color of a sunset. Just breathing this soft light into every cell in your body. Allowing this love and light to flow freely throughout the body. Bathing and soothing every cell. And washing away any tension that it comes to. And notice that as this soft light and love surrounds you and enfolds you, that it's bringing all of your energy into harmony. And just noticing now the muscles around your face and around your scalp, just beginning to soften and relax. And sending this relaxation down through the muscles of the neck and the throat, and down through the shoulders and arms and hands. And sending a wave of relaxation down through the chest, abdomen, hips, legs, clear down into your feet. And even your internal organs just softening and letting go. And just opening now into a state of deep acceptance. Asking for help, surrendering. Asking for help, receiving. And just opening deeply and completely now.
And so as you're resting there, just breathing in and breathing out softly and easily. And I'm going to say some things that are directed to your physical body to help strengthen your physical body. And all you have to do is just allow this to come in. Increase immune function to 100%. Fibonacci sequence Fn plus 2 equals Fn plus 1 plus Fn. Negative infinity to positive infinity. 3 dimensions, blue. C, E, G. Major octaves, C4 and C5. Starting n equals 6 and n plus 1 equals 9. Psycho-neuroimmunological connection between the brain, DNA, and the immune system using endorphins and other neurotransmitters to be restricted to immune-raising feedback only. Thymus and other immune functions to differentiate between own cells and external toxins from the blueprint held in the morphogenetic field. Vaccinate against all viruses and any other type of influenza by producing antibodies to that particular strain when needed. Crystal iolite, plant Rauwolfia. Master number 11. number 234-592-373-477, gateway 4, 110-011, 011, 010. All quantum effects to be amplified by the vibration of Fibonacci sequence Fn+2 equals Fn+1 plus Fn, negative infinity to positive infinity, 3 dimensions blue, B, F major, octave C2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Starting n equals 2 and n+1 equals 3. And so now just continuing to breathe softly in and out. It's good to know that there are many beings here, beings of light, only light. Your entire healing team on the other side is present with you now. And you can simply relax. Keep breathing in and out. And open deeply. Opening as deeply as you can to allow all of this light to come in now.
And just noticing now, anywhere in the body that feels tight, restricted, uncomfortable. As you breathe in and open yourself to this love and healing energy that's surrounding you, just noticing if there's any place where it has difficulty moving. And asking for those blocks to be removed. Tuning in and allowing that love and light to work on these areas. Noticing if there's any feelings stored there, feelings of sadness or grief or fear. And just being willing to feel those sensations without any judgment, any attachment, any self-criticism. And wherever there's any fear or concern present in your body or your mind, repeating internally to yourself along with me here 3 times. I ask for divine intervention into my life experience now. I ask for divine intervention into my life experience now. I ask for divine intervention into my life experience now. Thank you.
Allowing that soft golden rose-colored light to wash through your body and energy system, dissolving any doubt, and transmuting all of this energy into love. Allowing that soft golden rose-colored light to wash through your body and energy system, dissolving any fear. And transmuting all of this energy into love. Allowing this love and flame of the heart of Elijah and the rose gold light to wash through your body and energy system, dissolving any hopelessness, dissolving all the feelings of powerlessness. And transmuting all of this energy into love. And please absorb the healing intent behind all of the following affirmations. I deeply love and accept myself just the way I am. I resonate with the love that exists in every cell of my body. I allow the unconditional love of the universe into my life and let it work within me. I live in the flow of life, and the flow of life lives within me. Loving events and people seek me out. My life is harmonious. I heal quickly and easily. I love my body and treat it accordingly. I trust the universe to provide me with all that I need. I live in the moment and release any worries that past or future events create within me. Just allowing yourself to breathe out any energy that's no longer serving you. Breathing in the love that is surrounding you right now. And breathing out anything that's no longer serving you.
And just noticing now how good it feels in the body, in the heart, in the energy system, to simply be in a state of surrender. And we ask for help staying connected to this energy of surrender. Surrender to our higher self. Surrender to the intelligence of the universe. Surrendering all that we cannot control. And handing that control back to the forces of light, directing our soul journeys. And it's good to know that you can easily reconnect with this energy of love and surrender anytime you want to or need to. And that's good. And so gently now, just bringing your attention back into the room. Taking a nice deep breath into the abdomen. And coming all the way into yourself now. Slowly coming back. And as soon as you're ready, you can open your eyes. And some people aren't ready to come back yet, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You can stay where you are and soak in that energy as long as you'd like. But if there are any other questions or comments, now is the time. And if not, that's okay. Jen, thank you. You're welcome. And Beatrice, yes, this is being recorded and will be available on the She He We Awakening YouTube page. So if you haven't connected with that page yet, just go to YouTube and search She He We Awakening.
Yeah. Yes, I recorded most of it. I think I missed
Whoops.
about 10 minutes at the beginning,
Oh,
but
that's okay.
oopsie, you learn.
Those were the least important 10 minutes.
Yeah. But yes, this entire meditation and healing has been recorded. And every time that you want to listen to it, the same energies that were present just now will be present with you again and again and again. So if you want to listen again, you'll experience more healing. It's not a one-time only deal.
Mm-hmm. So I just want to offer, maybe as a takeaway, as you go back out into the world over the next couple weeks, do maybe check in with this recording or the energy around it or the lessons, and stay tuned into that. And again, if you're checking in to learn about what's going on in the world, there is nothing wrong with that. Just pay attention to your energy and remember that you are in control of your energy and your energy field. And if you remain conscious of that, you don't have to get sucked into the fear. You can just check in and go, okay, I wonder what the latest news is. What are the updates? What's the state of the world? What's going on out there? Do I need to take any extra precautions today? Are restaurants all shut down? And you can just sort of check in with that and take it matter-of-factly, while also staying connected to all of the deeper truth that we've talked about today. And ultimately really just remembering none of this is new. Nothing has actually changed. We are just a lot more conscious of what was always present in the first place. One of my favorite teachers, Carl Jung, says that until we make the unconscious conscious, it will control our lives, and we will call it destiny. And so the reality of the uncertainty of life on this planet has been there all along. We just weren't conscious of it. And for me, my big takeaway from this whole experience that we're going through is that I can be, and others can now be, much more conscious of having gratitude for our day-to-day life experiences, and having much more consciousness around the fact that all of these things we thought we were in control of, we were never really in control of. And that's okay. We were never designed to be in control of them.
Mhm.
And just keeping in mind that becoming more conscious of that truth is in fact a great gift if we allow ourselves to accept it as such without buying into the fear that it seems to be wrapped in.
Mhm. And it's good to know there's always help available.
Yes.
Yeah. We can connect to it anytime that we want to or need to.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much to you all for taking time out of your day to join and help.
Yes.
You helped. So thank you.
Mhm.
Love you all. Kisses to all of you.
Mhm.
And I'll have this posted on Facebook as a YouTube video. And for those of you I know are not on Facebook, I will email you or send you the link.
Thank you all.
Thank you.